Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. You know how this works, right? You send us the sources.
Yeah.
We dig in and we try to find the really good stuff.
The gems.
Yeah, the gems. And this time,
This time we got to go with
oh, yeah, this one's fascinating. We're looking into Harka Sampang,
Mayor of Dharan.
Dharan, Nepal,
Yeah.
elected in 2022, and he's an independent.
Yeah, no big party backing him up.
Which is really interesting, right? Because you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, how does somebody go from regular life to leading a whole city?
Yeah, that's a big jump.
And that's what we're trying to figure out today. Like, what can we learn from his journey?
And what's really cool is that this isn't some historical figure we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
This is happening right now. Like, his story's still being written.
Exactly. It's like we have a front row seat.
Mhm.
Okay, so our sources paint this picture of his early life, and it wasn't easy, you know?
Definitely not a walk in the park.
Yeah. No. Born in a rural village, his dad was a former British Gurkha soldier. And after school, he moved to Dharan for better education. Even tutored English to make ends meet. So, I mean, even early on, you see that drive, right?
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Like, that's a theme that you see throughout his life. Overcoming challenges, finding a way. Like,
Mhm.
later on, he worked in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah. Which a lot of young Nepalese people do, right, for economic reasons.
Right, exactly. But it's not an easy choice.
No. I mean, I can't even imagine. What do you think? Like, what kind of impact do you think those experiences had on him?
Oh, I bet it was huge.
Mm.
I mean, working in those kinds of environments
Yeah.
exposes you to so much. Different cultures, different ways of thinking. It probably shaped his worldview,
Yeah.
you know, like how he sees leadership, what it means to serve a community.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if that's kind of where his activism started.
Possibly.
Because he didn't just come back to Nepal and kind of fade into the background.
No, not at all.
He became a vocal advocate for all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah, especially in Dharan. Like, really local issues. He was really outspoken about tax hikes.
Which, let's face it, nobody likes.
Nobody likes him. And then there was illegal sand mining,
Right.
which, you know, it has such a big impact on the environment, on communities.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the water crisis.
Yeah.
That seemed to be a defining issue for him. Our sources really emphasize that, like how passionately he fought for a solution, even before he entered politics.
And I think it's important to point out here, clean water is a fundamental need, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, it would be nice to have. It's health.
yeah.
It's well-being for the whole city.
And that's where I start to see these connections
Oh, yeah?
between his early life and his activism. Like, this guy wasn't afraid of hard work.
Oh.
He was resourceful. He saw what tough times can do to people. So maybe it's not surprising he ended up fighting for his community.
It's a compelling narrative, isn't it?
It is. And then he goes into politics. His first try for mayor back in 2019.
That was a bold move.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But it didn't go so well.
No, 422 votes. That's got to sting a little.
422 votes. Not exactly a victory, but also, I guess, not surprising for an independent.
You're right. You're right.
Gee.
Going up against these huge parties with
Yeah.
all their networks and their money and their name recognition.
Like trying to climb Everest without, any gear.
Kind of, yeah. The odds are definitely stacked against you.
Big time. But Sampang, he didn't give up.
No, he didn't.
He ran again in 2022.
And this time he chose a very interesting symbol.
Okay, yeah, I gotta ask about this.
Yeah.
A walking stick. It's not exactly the flashiest campaign symbol.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the genius of it.
Really?
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
You got all these politicians with their fancy slogans and promises.
Yeah?
And then you have Sampang with a walking stick.
Okay.
It's like humility, support, a journey taken together.
Like he's saying, I'm here to help you through the rough stuff.
Yeah, walk alongside you.
Exactly. And that message, I mean, it worked. He won. Beat the Nepali Congress candidate, which, I mean, that's going to send shockwaves through the political scene, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like, okay, this guy's a real force to be reckoned with.
Right. Like, could he change how things are done in Nepal?
It's definitely possible. But, winning the election is just the start.
Yeah.
The real test is what he does as mayor.
Right, because now he's got this whole system to deal with.
Exactly. All the bureaucracy, the established ways of doing things.
And not everyone's going to be happy with his style, right?
No, probably not.
Which, from what we've read, is very hands-on.
Oh, yeah. Like, really involved in solving problems directly.
There is this one detail in the sources about the water crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he was brought to tears when the water from the Kokaha River finally reached the city.
Oh, wow.
It's like, what kind of pressure must he have been feeling to have that kind of reaction?
I know. It's a powerful image, isn't it? I mean, he was so invested in solving that problem.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about checking a box, right?
No, it was personal for him. He really cared about the people of Dharan.
And it seems like that carried over to other stuff, too. Like, the sources mentioned that he really encouraged public participation.
Oh, yeah, like everyone working together to make the city better.
Yeah, there were stories of him, like, cleaning drainage systems with residents.
Wow, really?
I mean,
Yeah.
how often do you see a mayor doing that kind of thing?
Not very often, which,
Yeah.
It's admirable. But it does raise questions about, like, how sustainable is that?
Right. I mean, he can't be everywhere at once.
Exactly. And what happens when he bumps heads with, the political establishment?
Because that's gotta happen at some point.
Oh, yeah. And from what we've read, it has. There have been disagreements, postponed meetings, that kind of friction.
So it's like this constant push and pull. He's
Yeah.
trying to change things, but the system's kind of resisting.
And that can be exhausting.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting dilemma. Like, how do you balance wanting fast change
Yeah.
with working within a system that maybe isn't designed for that? It's
Yeah.
something a lot of leaders struggle with, I think.
It really feels like we're watching this experiment play out in real time.
It is, yeah.
And I have no idea how it's going to end.
It could go so many different ways.
Right. And that's where I think things get really interesting for our listeners.
Oh, totally.
Because everyone listening, you've got your own communities, your own experiences, and I bet some of this resonates with you.
I bet it does.
So what are you thinking as you hear all this? What stands out to you?
Like, we all have those problems, right? In our towns, in our cities,
Totally.
whether it's, I don't know, potholes that never get fixed.
Yeah.
Or bigger stuff,
Yeah.
like access to health care,
Oh, absolutely.
affordable housing.
And I think what Sampang's story does, it
Yeah.
makes you think, okay, what's my role in all this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel helpless,
Mhm.
like someone else will handle it.
Right.
But Sampang shows us that doing something, even if it's small,
Yeah.
it can make a difference.
We're not just bystanders.
Exactly. We can speak up. We can organize.
There's power in that.
There is. And you don't need permission,
That's so inspiring, right? Like, he didn't wait for some big political party to say, okay, you can run now.
No, he just saw a problem and he went for it.
Even though it meant going against, like, the whole system.
And that gets to a bigger question.
What's that?
What is effective leadership, really?
Oh, that's a good one.
Does it always have to be, fitting into the existing structures?
Agrees.
Years of experience, fancy degrees.
Right.
Sampang makes you wonder if maybe there are other ways.
Like, maybe it's more about authenticity,
Uh-huh.
wanting to serve your community, putting in the work, even when it's hard.
And being willing to learn, right?
Oh, yeah, because nobody starts out knowing everything.
No way. But I think the big takeaway here
Yeah,
is that change is possible,
it is.
even if it takes time, even if it's messy.
But we have to be willing to, step up.
To get involved, to challenge things.
And Sampang's story also reminds us
Yeah.
it's not a solo mission.
Definitely not. He didn't do it alone.
He brought the community together.
And that's powerful.
Yeah, it is. It's like we don't have to do it all ourselves.
We can support each other, build on each other's ideas.
And create real change.
Exactly.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Harka Sampang, I want to leave you with a question.
Okay, I like it.
What's your walking stick? What are you passionate about? What can you do, even in a small way,
Uh-huh.
to make your community better?
Think about it, everyone.
Tell us your thoughts online, wherever you find us.
Yeah, keep this conversation going.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions,
Yeah.
and keep making a difference.